Today on Stewart-Cox Family News. All eyes were on Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin as they met for the first time in more than 6 years. The Russian president visiting the U.S. for high-stakes talks anticipated beforehand to potentially shape the war in Ukraine. Share your thoughts and leave comments. Now let's see the clip.
The President of the United States taking a few questions. You heard the tail end of it. And he did say if they are not sincere about bringing this war to an end, the sanctions will be severe. Let's bring in Governor Mike Dunleavy, who's in Anchorage right now, Governor of Alaska. Governor, your thoughts about the president, who's about 7 hours away from your city. What are the stakes right now in your mind?
Well, I mean, it's really a just peace that I think we're all looking at. I think this is a great idea for the president to meet Putin, especially here in Alaska, given our location on the globe. We're 2.5 miles from Russia, so it's about a 7-hour flight from Moscow to Anchorage compared to a 9-10-hour flight from Moscow to Washington. And of course, the president's coming in from Washington. That's about a 5.5-6-hour flight. So, makes sense to meet here. And in terms of the stakes, obviously, it's about peace. If we can get this thing taken care of and wrapped up with President Trump, President Putin, and then President Zelensky, I think it bodes well for the world. But my understanding is right now it's just going to be President Trump and Putin talking and meeting and setting the groundwork, I hope, for a lasting peace.
You know, it seems like, Governor, that there's always some story about some Russian fighter jet that's got to be greeted and escorted out of your airspace. Have the Russians picked up the pace in this menacing behavior?
I would say maybe over the last month or so, you see more of that. But then again, Brian, we live in a tough neighborhood. Again, we're 2.5 miles from Russia. You have Korea. We're under the Korean missile umbrella. We also have the Chinese warships plying the Bering Straits right next to the state of Alaska. So it's always been active to some degree. And of course, we've got a robust military here in Alaska. So as far as Alaskans are concerned, we're not too worried about the Russians or the Chinese, or the Koreans. But it's something we've had to live with forever. Alaska came into being during the Cold War, height of the Cold War in 1959 as a state. So this is our neighborhood. We kind of know these countries. And again, we got a robust military. So we sleep well at night. Again, getting this war behind us, I think, is going to bode well for everybody.
In the sunshine in Kyiv, they're absorbing the news. They've had hopes raised so many times, then dashed as diplomacy turns full circle over and over again. But events in Alaska seem of a different order.
Honestly, it was a disaster. It's a diplomatic failure in the first place, and it shows that Trump inviting and greeting Putin that way just shows that he legitimizes the war crimes, he legitimizes the kidnappings of children. It's just like 1938 when Chamberlain basically sold off Czechoslovakia, and this is basically what's happening now.
How does it make you feel about the future of Ukraine, the future your son will?
Yeah, he is one of the people that will make a future of our country, and I want to hope that it will be in prosperity, in peace, in independency, and not being, prescribed to Russian army.
It's a major change in Trump's stance since the meeting with Putin that is causing most concern. In a post on Truth Social, Donald Trump says the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement, which would end the war and not a mere ceasefire agreement. Donald Trump has, for weeks, been demanding an immediate ceasefire from Vladimir Putin. He has now, it seems, shifted to Putin's position, which is no ceasefire until a full agreement is struck first. That makes it a much tougher challenge for President Zelensky as he prepares in his offices here to fly to Washington. Is he about to be told to negotiate with Vladimir Putin while Russian forces are still killing his people? Donald Trump sat on the tarmac on his return after the summit, calling President Zelensky and European leaders. Ukraine's leader tweeting afterwards, he told Trump sanctions should be strengthened if there's no trilateral meeting or if Russia tries to evade an honest end to the war. Europeans agree in a statement, Britain's Prime Minister saying the next step must be further talks involving President Zelensky. The path to peace in Ukraine cannot be decided without him. On his return to Moscow, Vladimir Putin claimed the summit was a success.
I repeat once again, there was an opportunity to state our position again calmly and in detail. Of course, we respect the position of the American administration, which sees the need for a speedy end to hostilities. We would also like this, and would like to move on to resolving all issues by peaceful means.
The fear here now is months and years more of this. Relentless Russian drone attacks, like the one on the residential part of the town of Sumy on the day of the summit, just a few hours before. Ukrainian MP Yaroslav Yurkishin says there is bitter disappointment at Trump's failure to stand up to Putin.
Trump, who can be a leader, real leader of peacemaking process, now just give highest war criminals to time to kill more people in Ukraine.
Russia released more footage of its forces in action today. Whatever the politicians say, Ukrainians will remain at the mercy of Vladimir Putin's aggression until diplomacy prevails, which to them now seems an even more distant prospect. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, Kyiv.